Have you ever wondered why God gave dogs to humans? I'm not talking about just any animal companion, but these four-legged friends who somehow find a place in our hearts that is irreplaceable. Dogs are not just pets. They are silent teachers of love, patience, loyalty, and joy. Their presence in our lives is one of the most beautiful examples of unconditional love. A love that asks nothing in return. Think about it for a moment. A dog doesn't care about your wealth, your fame, your failures, or your mistakes. They see you, the real you. They respond to your energy, your emotions, and your sincerity. When you're happy, their tail wags in sync with your heartbeat. When you're sad, they come closer, offering warmth without judgment. Could this be a small, tangible lesson from the divine? Perhaps God gave dogs to humans so we could experience the purest form of love without conditions. Dogs all teach us about loyalty. We live in a world where promises are broken, friendships are tested, and loyalty is rare. But a dog waits for you at the door day after day, through rain or shine, not because of what you give them, but simply because you are their human. How many times do we fail to remain loyal to the people we love? Well, perhaps observing a dog can inspire us to be more steadfast, more committed, and more loving in our own relationships. Patience is another gift dogs bring into our lives. Have you ever tried training a puppy? It's a test of your patience, persistence, and consistency. But in return, you witness growth, trust, and bonding. Life too is much like that, a journey of small steps, patience, and learning. Perhaps God wanted us to see through dogs that even small, consistent efforts bear beautiful results over time. And then there's joy. There is no joy more unfiltered than a dog running in circles when they see you or lying on your lap after a long day. They remind us to celebrate life, not only through achievements, but through presence, through small moments, and through simple pleasures. In our pursuit of success, we often forget these small joys. Dogs teach us to pause, breathe, and cherish life as it unfolds. So why did God give dogs to humans? Maybe He wanted us to understand love without conditions, loyalty without expectations, patience without frustration, and joy without reason. Maybe He wanted to remind us that life is not just about tasks, schedules, and goals. It's about connection, warmth, and being present. Dogs are small miracles walking on four legs, showing us how to live a life full of love, kindness, and happiness. When we talk about love, we often think of it as something that must be earned. Society teaches us that love comes with conditions. It is granted when we succeed, when we please others, or when we meet certain expectations. But if we look at the life of a dog, we see a completely different model of love, one that is pure, unwavering, and unconditional. A dog does not care if you are rich or poor, if you are powerful or weak, if you are smiling or crying. Their love is not measured by achievements or failures, by appearances or accolades. They simply love you because you exist. That is a love so simple yet so profound that it holds lessons for every human being who takes the time to observe it. Think about the small things. You return home after a long day, exhausted and perhaps defeated. You are carrying the weight of responsibilities, disappointments, and worries. Disappointments. And yet, the moment your dog sees you, the entire being lights up. Their tail wags in joy. They jump around with excitement and their eyes are filled with adoration. They do not question why you are late or scold you for being tired. They do not care about the mistakes you made during the day or the harsh words you exchanged with someone. In that moment, you are enough. Their love is not conditional. It is a celebration of your presence. It is a reminder that sometimes the greatest gift we can give and receive is simply being there, simply existing, and simply being accepted for who we are. This unconditional love is not passive. It transforms the way we experience relationships. When we interact with a dog, we begin to notice that love does not need to be earned or bargained for. It is not transactional. A dog will forgive you instantly if you accidentally step on their paw, if you leave them alone for hours, or if you forget to play with them for a day. There is no resentment, no judgment, and no hesitation. This is a lesson humans often struggle to grasp. How often do we hold grudges, set conditions, or demand proof of love before we give it? Dogs remind us that love, at its truest form, is given freely and joyfully, without calculation. Moreover, this type of love teaches us selflessness. A dog does not expect praise, reward, or recognition for their affection. They love without asking for anything in return. Observing this can be a mirror for our own lives. It invites us to reflect. Are we loving our families, friends, and colleagues with the same generosity and openness? Or do we measure our love by what we receive back? The dog's example quietly but powerfully challenges us to love more freely, more deeply, and more genuinely. Finally, the unconditional love of a dog has the power to heal. In moments of despair, loneliness, or grief, the presence of a dog can feel like a warm light breaking through darkness. They sense our pain, they sit beside us in silence, and their gentle, steady love reassures us that we are not alone. That simple, unwavering affection can mend a weary heart in ways that words often cannot. It is a divine reminder that love in its purest form is not earned. It is experienced, given, and received as a gift, a constant presence in a chaotic world. In the end, dogs are not just companions, they are teachers. Through their unconditional love, they show us the highest form of affection, one that transcends judgment, expectation, and selfishness. They remind us that the essence of life is connection, care, and compassion, and that love, when given freely, can transform both the giver and the receiver in ways that last a lifetime. Loyalty is a word we often associate with people, friendships, or relationships, but the true essence of loyalty is often best observed in the life of a dog. Loyalty is not about convenience or conditions. It is about steadfastness, devotion, and commitment, regardless of circumstances. A dog does not evaluate whether you are worthy of their trust or affection. They do not consider whether you have succeeded or failed, whether you have been kind or harsh, or whether you have given them everything they want. Their loyalty is simple and pure. They choose you every single day, without question, without hesitation, and without complaint. In a world where loyalty is often tested, delayed, or broken, a dog's loyalty is a quiet but powerful reminder of what it truly means to stand by someone. Imagine a dog waiting at the door for its owner, hour after hour, rain or shine, sun or storm. Days may pass, schedules may change. Life may pull the human in countless directions, yet the dog waits patiently, unwavering in devotion. That is a form of loyalty that transcends the ordinary. How often do we, as humans, find it difficult to remain loyal to the people we love, to friendships we have made, or to commitments we have promised? A dog's loyalty shines a light on our shortcomings, showing us that true dedication is not about expecting returns or rewards. It is about being present, being consistent, and choosing to stay connected, even when it is inconvenient or challenging. Loyalty, as demonstrated by dogs, also teaches us about trust. They trust us completely, even when we make mistakes, even when we falter. And their trust is not blind. It is earned through consistent care. Yes, but once it is given, it remains unwavering. This kind of loyalty and trust encourages us to reflect on our own relationships. Are we as reliable as we expect others to be? Are we consistent in our commitments, patient in our interactions, and steadfast in our bonds? A dog's devotion challenges us to raise our own standards, not in a judgmental way, but in a gentle, inspiring manner that encourages growth and integrity. There is also a quiet beauty in how dogs demonstrate loyalty through small acts. A nuzzle of encouragement when you are down, a quiet presence when you feel isolated, or simply following you around the house step by step, day by day. These are acts of devotion that speak louder than words. They show that loyalty is not always dramatic or loud. Sometimes it is simply being there consistently in ways both small and meaningful. In a society that often celebrates grand gestures, dogs remind us that loyalty is about reliability and presence, not showmanship. Moreover, a dog's loyalty teaches us forgiveness, because in many ways, loyalty and forgiveness are intertwined. Even when humans falter, neglect, or err, dogs remain devoted. They do not hold grudges or keep mental scorecards of past mistakes. They live in the present moment, and in that present, they choose you. There is a subtle yet profound lesson here. True loyalty embraces forgiveness, understanding, and patience. It shows that devotion is not about perfection, but about consistency, trust, and unwavering support. Ultimately, dogs are silent teachers of loyalty, showing us that true commitment is not conditional, not fleeting, and not self-serving. They teach us that loyalty is about standing by someone, even when life becomes messy, complicated, or inconvenient. They remind us that relationships thrive when nurtured with trust, consistency, and forgiveness, and that these qualities, when practiced daily, create bonds that are unshakable and enduring. In their quiet, steady, and devoted way, dogs exemplify the purest form of loyalty that humans can aspire to, leaving a lasting mark on our hearts and on our understanding of love, trust, and devotion. Patience is a quality that humans often struggle with, especially in today's fast paced world. We want instant results, quick solutions, and immediate gratification, yet life rarely works that way. Dogs, however, are patient teachers in the art of waiting, understanding, and enduring. From the moment a puppy enters our lives, we are faced with a small, energetic creature who depends entirely on us. They cannot speak, cannot understand complex instructions immediately, and cannot control their impulses. And yet, with consistent care, guidance, and gentle correction, they learn, grow, and adapt. In this process, we as humans are challenged to cultivate patience, to slow down, and to recognize that growth, whether in a dog or in ourselves, cannot be rushed. Training a dog is perhaps one of the clearest lessons in patience. When a puppy chews on your shoes, jumps uncontrollably, or ignores commands, it is easy to feel frustrated. Yet, a wise observer notices that this is not stubbornness, it is simply the puppy's natural learning process. The dog will not instantly understand rules or expectations. Instead, it requires consistent repetition, gentle encouragement, and unwavering presence. Over time, the behaviors begin to change, the bond deepens, and the lessons of patience reveal themselves. Watching this unfold teaches us that in all relationships, whether with animals or humans, growth cannot be forced. True development requires time, nurturing, and persistent effort. But patience is not only about training or teaching. Dogs also teach us to be patient with ourselves. When we are stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, a dog's calm presence reminds us that it is okay to slow down. They do not rush, judge us, or demand perfection. A dog waits while we collect ourselves, sits beside us while we struggle, and quietly reminds us that life is a journey, not a race. In observing their patience, we learn to extend the same gentleness toward our own hearts. We learn that mistakes are part of growth, that setbacks are temporary, and that progress often comes in small, almost imperceptible steps. Furthermore, dogs exhibit patience in their unwavering loyalty and trust. They do not abandon their humans when life gets difficult, when moods shift, or when circumstances become complicated. They wait, sometimes for hours, days, or even years, for the return of their loved ones. This kind of quiet, steadfast patience is a profound lesson for humans who often lose hope too quickly or give up when challenges appear. Dogs teach us that patience is not passive, it is active, enduring, and filled with quiet strength. Even in moments of illness, aging, or decline, dogs show patience with themselves and with others. A senior dog may move slowly, struggle to hear or see, yet their love remains constant and their reliance on human companionship grows stronger. They demonstrate that patience is not just about waiting, it is about persistence, resilience, and maintaining faith in the process of life, even when it becomes difficult. Ultimately, the patience we learn from dogs is a mirror for how we should live. It teaches us to slow down, to observe, to nurture, and to persist. It reminds us that every being, every relationship, and every situation in life has its own pace. Growth cannot be hurried, love cannot be forced, understanding cannot be rushed. By embracing patience as dogs naturally do, we align ourselves with the rhythm of life, learning to move through challenges gracefully, to celebrate small victories, and to approach every interaction with calmness, tolerance, and hope. Joy is often thought of as something grand, something that comes from big achievements, celebrations, or extraordinary experiences. Yet dogs teach us a far deeper and more profound lesson. That true joy is found in the small, simple moments of life. If you observe a dog closely, you will notice that their happiness is rarely dependent on possessions, status, or success. It is not measured by wealth, comfort, or accomplishments. A dog finds immense joy in a walk in the park, a game of fetch, a soft pat on the head, or simply lying beside their human. In a world where humans often chase happiness as though it is a distant destination, dogs remind us that joy is a choice we can make every day, in every moment, by appreciating the small gifts that life offers. Consider the sheer delight of a dog when it sees you return home after a long day. They do not care if you had a bad day, if you are tired, or if your hands are empty. Their joy is pure, spontaneous, and uncontainable. They leap, bark, wag their tails, and sometimes even do little spins of excitement, as if the entire universe has aligned perfectly just because you are back. Watching this, one cannot help but feel a spark of joy oneself. It is contagious, almost magical. Dogs remind us that happiness does not have to be postponed until some future goal is achieved. It is available in the present moment, ready to be experienced fully if we open our hearts to it. Dogs also celebrate life with such authenticity that it challenges the way we humans often live. Think about how a dog chases a butterfly, rolls in the grass, or plays in a puddle. There is no self-consciousness, no concern about how it looks, no worry about judgment. They are entirely immersed in the present moment, and in that immersion, they find immense satisfaction and delight. This teaches us an important lesson, that joy is not a reward for perfection or success, but a state of being cultivated by awareness and presence. It is about noticing the little things, the warmth of the sun, the smell of flowers, the sound of birds, the laughter of a loved one, and letting those small moments fill our hearts completely. Furthermore, dogs show us that joy grows when shared. When a dog brings you a ball, drops it at your feet, and looks at you expectantly, it is offering you a gift of happiness. They do not hoard their joy, they spread it, inviting you into it. Life too becomes richer when we share our happiness with others, when we celebrate together rather than alone. A dog teaches us that small acts of love, attention, and playfulness can create profound joy, not only for ourselves, but also for those around us. Finally, dogs remind us that joy is resilient. Even on days when you feel low, stressed, or burdened, a dog's presence can lift your spirits. Their spontaneous antics, gentle nudges, or simple companionship remind us that life always offers reasons to smile if only we notice. They embody a lesson that we often forget. Happiness is not something to wait for. It is all available in the small, ordinary, beautiful moments of everyday life. By embracing these lessons from dogs, we learn to cultivate joy intentionally, to celebrate the present, and to recognize that the true magic of life lies not in grand achievements, but in the small, heartfelt moments that make each day meaningful. Empathy and compassion are qualities that are often taught but rarely fully understood in the way that dogs naturally embody them. A dog does not just see you, a dog feels you. A dog feels you. They sense your emotions even before you speak, before you act, sometimes before you even realize what you are feeling yourself. When you are sad, a dog leans into you, nuzzles your hand, or rests their head on your lap. They do not offer advice, they do not judge, and they do not try to fix you. Their presence alone, calm, gentle, and attentive, communicates understanding. In this quiet, non-verbal way, dogs teach humans the power of empathy, not as an intellectual exercise, but as a heartfelt response to another being's feelings. Consider a moment when you have a terrible day. Perhaps a setback at work, a misunderstanding with a friend, or a personal disappointment has left you feeling drained. In such moments, a dog does not turn away or distract themselves. They sit beside you patiently, sharing your space, absorbing your energy, and offering comfort without asking for anything in return. This ability to connect to another being's emotions, to share in their experience without judgment, is the essence of compassion. The dog shows that true empathy is not about solving problems. It is about being present, offering support, and letting another being feel that they are seen and understood. What is remarkable is that dogs extend this empathy instinctively, without expecting recognition or reward. They respond to a subtle shift in mood, a faint sigh, or the tension in your posture. Their compassion is pure and intuitive, not calculated or conditional. Humans, on the other hand, often struggle with empathy because we allow our own biases, expectations, or impatience to cloud our responses. By observing dogs, we learn that empathy requires attentiveness, patience, and an open heart. It asks us to tune in, to listen deeply, and to respond gently rather than rushing to judge, correct, or instruct. Dogs also teach us that compassion is not limited to humans. It extends to all living beings. They show kindness and patience not only to their owners, but often to other animals, strangers, and even the world around them. A dog may approach a frightened animal carefully, offer comfort to a grieving companion, or show excitement at a small act of kindness. This teaches us a vital lesson. Empathy is universal. It is not selective or transactional. Compassion flows naturally when we are attentive, present, and willing to share the emotional space of others, regardless of their species, background, or status. In a broader sense, the empathy of dogs reminds us that emotional connection is essential for human well being. Just as a dog responds to our feelings, we are invited to respond to the feelings of others with genuine care. Empathy is what builds trust, strengthens relationships, and creates a sense of community. It is the gentle thread that ties hearts together. Through their quiet, consistent example, dogs teach us that compassion is not a skill to be learned in theory. It is a practice to be lived every day through small acts of understanding, patience, and love. Ultimately, the presence of a dog in our lives serves as a mirror for our own capacity for empathy and compassion. They invite us to slow down, notice the unspoken needs of those around us, and respond with an open heart. They remind us that compassion is not about grand gestures. It is about presence, attentiveness, and the willingness to share in another being's experience. By embracing the lessons of empathy that dogs teach so effortlessly, we can cultivate deeper, more meaningful connections and live a life filled with understanding, kindness, and love. Life can often feel overwhelming. Deadlines, responsibilities, personal struggles, and unexpected challenges pile up, creating tension that seems impossible to release. In such moments, the presence of a dog has a remarkable way of grounding us, calming our minds, and restoring our emotional balance. Dogs are natural healers, not because they have a medical degree, or because they can speak soothing words, but because their presence alone has the power to ease stress, lift spirits, and nurture the heart. When we stroke a dog's fur, feel their steady breathing, or watch them play without worry, our own nervous system begins to relax. Scientific studies support what dog owners have long known intuitively. Interacting with dogs lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and increases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which generates feelings of calm, safety, and well-being. But the healing dogs provide goes beyond physiological benefits. Dogs have an uncanny ability to sense our moods and respond to our emotional needs. When we are anxious or tense, a dog may rest their head on our lap, sit close, or nuzzle us gently. They do not interrupt our emotions or tell us to snap out of it. Instead, they validate our feelings through presence. This simple, non-judgmental acknowledgement can be profoundly comforting. It reminds us that we are not alone in our struggles, that someone, however small or furry, is with us, quietly offering support and companionship. In moments of grief, disappointment, or loneliness, this can be more healing than words or advice. Dogs also teach us to release tension through playfulness. Watching a dog chase a ball, frolic in the grass, or bound across a park with pure delight can shift our perspective instantly. Their joy is contagious, and their ability to live entirely in the present moment reminds us to pause, breathe, and experience life without overthinking. When we imitate even a fraction of that carefree energy, we release mental burdens we may have carried for days, weeks, or years. Dogs are living examples of how small, seemingly ordinary moments like a walk, a playful romp, or a quiet cuddle can have extraordinary effects on our mental and emotional health. Moreover, dogs encourage routines that promote healing. Feeding them, walking them, or simply spending intentional time together provides structure and purpose, which can be grounding during stressful or chaotic periods. For someone struggling with anxiety, depression, or the pressures of life, caring for a dog can create a sense of stability and meaning. In return, the dog's calm demeanor and loving presence reinforce resilience, teaching that healing often comes not through dramatic interventions, but through consistency, care, and mindful connection. But perhaps one of the most profound lessons dogs teach about stress relief and healing is that love itself is restorative. Their loyalty, compassion, and unselfish affection create an emotional sanctuary. When a dog leans against you after a long day, their simple gesture communicates safety, acceptance, and reassurance. This reminds us that connection, love, and presence are not luxuries. They are essential to emotional well-being. A dog's love is never conditional or judgmental. And in experiencing this, humans are reminded that they too can offer and receive healing through connection, compassion, and mindfulness. Ultimately, dogs are more than companions. They are teachers and healers. They show us that even in a world filled with stress, chaos, and uncertainty, moments of calm, joy, and emotional restoration are always available if we open our hearts. Through their presence, playfulness, and unwavering love, dogs guide us toward a state of balance and peace, reminding us that healing is not always external. It often begins with a small, quiet connection, a gentle touch, or a moment of shared stillness with a being who loves us completely and without condition. Forgiveness is one of the most challenging virtues for humans. We hold on to grudges, replay moments of hurt in our minds, and let anger fester long after the original incident has passed. Yet dogs, in their quiet, intuitive way, teach us that forgiveness can be simple, natural, and even effortless. When a dog is wronged, stepped on by accident, scolded for a mistake, or left alone for hours, they do not harbor resentment. They do not calculate revenge or silently punish their human for past transgressions. Instead, they forgive immediately, often returning with the same warmth, loyalty, and love as if nothing had happened. Observing this, we are reminded that forgiveness is not just an abstract concept. It is a choice that can restore peace, connection, and emotional freedom in our lives. Think about a common scenario. You've come home from work, distracted and stressed, and you accidentally trip over your dog, startling them. Your first instinct may be embarrassment or guilt, but the dog's reaction is often immediate forgiveness. They may bark for a moment, flinch slightly, or run off briefly, but within minutes they are back, wagging their tail, nuzzling your hand, eager to reconnect. That simple act teaches a profound lesson. Forgiveness is about letting go of the past and returning to the present with an open heart. Dogs remind us that holding on to resentment only prolongs pain and disrupts the bond between beings. True connection requires the courage to forgive, to release, and to move forward. Forgiveness, as demonstrated by dogs, is deeply tied to love and trust. Their ability to forgive does not come from ignorance. They remember, they learn, but they do not allow past mistakes to define the relationship. In human life, this is often far more difficult because our egos, pride, and fear complicate our capacity to forgive. But dogs show that forgiveness and love are intertwined. To forgive is to restore trust, to rebuild the bond, and to choose relationship over resentment. In this way, dogs become silent guides, teaching us that forgiveness is not a weakness. It is a form of strength that opens the heart and strengthens connections. Moreover, dogs teach us that forgiveness can be immediate and uncomplicated. We humans often make forgiveness conditional. I'll forgive you if you apologize, or I'll forgive you when you change. Dogs, on the other hand, forgive without expecting restitution or explanation. They demonstrate that forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about freeing your own heart from anger, frustration, and negativity. By forgiving quickly, dogs live with lighter hearts, more joy, and stronger bonds, teaching us that forgiveness is ultimately a gift we give ourselves as much as we give to others. Forgiveness in dogs also reminds us to embrace the present moment. When a dog forgives, they do not dwell on the past. They do not carry grudges or replay hurtful memories. Instead, they choose connection, presence, and love here and now. There is an extraordinary lesson in this. Human suffering is often prolonged by our inability to forgive. By letting go of past hurts and returning to the present, we open ourselves to healing, joy, and deeper relationships. Dogs exemplify this beautifully. They teach us that life is too short to carry anger and resentment, and that the heart, when free of grudges, can experience love, happiness, and peace in its purest form. Ultimately, dogs are masters of forgiveness. Through their instinctive ability to let go, to love unconditionally, and to return to connection after every misstep, they remind us of one of life's greatest truths. Forgiveness is a choice, a strength, and a path to emotional freedom. By observing and learning from them, we can approach our own relationships with a lighter heart, a gentler spirit, and the courage to forgive, heal, and embrace life with renewed love. Mindfulness is a skill that many humans strive to master. This ability to be fully present in the moment, aware of our thoughts, emotions, and surroundings without judgment. Yet, while humans often struggle to achieve it, dogs demonstrate mindfulness effortlessly in their daily lives. A dog does not dwell on the past nor worry about the future. They do not ruminate on mistakes or stress over uncertainties. Whether they are playing in the yard, lying in the sun, or simply sitting beside you, dogs are completely immersed in the present moment. Their focus, attention, and engagement are natural, instinctive, and unwavering. Observing this reminds us that mindfulness is not something abstract or complicated. It is something we can learn by watching and emulating these simple, joyful creatures. Consider a dog chasing a butterfly across a field. Their entire attention is on the butterfly's movements, the flutter of wings, the direction of flight, the possibilities of capture. They are not distracted by past experiences like a failed attempt earlier in the day, nor are they worried about what will happen after they catch it. Every fiber of their being is engaged in the present. There is no anxiety, no planning, no judgment, just pure, undivided attention. Humans, in contrast, often live fractured lives, splitting their awareness between tasks, worries, and distractions. Dogs quietly teach us that true fulfillment arises when we immerse ourselves in the moment, appreciating it fully with all our senses attuned. Dogs also practice mindfulness in the simplest, often overlooked ways. The wag of a tail, the sniffing of a flower, the slow, deliberate movement of a walk, or the enjoyment of a meal. These are all acts performed with complete presence. In these seemingly ordinary actions, dogs find depth, richness, and satisfaction. They remind us that mindfulness does not require extraordinary circumstances. It is cultivated in ordinary moments, in small, deliberate awareness of life as it unfolds. They teach us that when we slow down, observe carefully, and engage fully, even the mundane becomes extraordinary. Another aspect of mindfulness that dogs teach is emotional awareness. Dogs are highly attuned to the emotions of those around them. They sense when we are sad, anxious, excited, or calm, and they adjust their behavior accordingly. This is mindfulness in action, not simply being present physically, but being fully aware of the emotional currents in a space. In human life, practicing this kind of empathy and attentiveness allows us to build stronger, more meaningful connections. A dog's example shows us that mindfulness is not only inward-looking, it is relational, shaping the way we respond, care, and connect with others. Dogs also remind us that mindfulness is inseparable from joy. By being fully present, they experience every moment deeply and intensely. A simple game of fetch becomes a source of ecstatic pleasure. A quiet nap in a sunny patch of floor becomes a moment of contentment. Their lives illustrate that when we stop rushing, stop overthinking, and fully inhabit the present, we experience life with heightened awareness, clarity, and fulfillment. Humans too can benefit enormously from this lesson, learning that mindfulness transforms not just how we live, but how we feel, and relate to the world around us. Ultimately, dogs are living teachers of mindfulness. Their effortless presence, full attention, and deep engagement with every moment remind us that life is best lived in awareness, not distraction, in connection, not preoccupation, and in joy, not anxiety. By observing and learning from them, we discover that mindfulness is not an abstract practice, but a living art, a way of seeing, feeling, and being that enriches every moment of our lives, nurtures our relationships, and allows us to experience the world with clarity, compassion, and gratitude. Faith in routine is a subtle, often overlooked lesson that dogs teach us effortlessly. In our human lives, routines can sometimes feel tedious or restrictive. We rush from one task to another, constantly seeking novelty or excitement, forgetting that stability and consistency are the foundations upon which growth, trust, and well-being are built. Dogs, however, lie within routines with grace, faith, and contentment. They thrive on predictable rhythms, meal times, walks, play sessions, and rest. Yet their adherence to routine is not mechanical or joyless. Instead, it is grounded in trust, patience, and an understanding that life's consistency provides safety and comfort. Observing this, we are reminded that faith in routine is not about rigidity, but about cultivating discipline, reliability, and a sense of peace amid life's chaos. Consider the simple act of a dog waiting for its owner to return home each day. Regardless of how long the day has been, how unpredictable life may be, the dog trusts that the familiar rhythm will continue. They know that at a certain time, the door will open, the familiar footsteps will echo, and companionship will be restored. This faith in routine demonstrates an incredible life lesson. Stability is comforting, reliability is grounding, and consistency is a source of trust. Humans, in contrast, often live with anxiety and uncertainty, constantly second-guessing outcomes, relationships, or daily plans. Dogs show us that when we trust in the natural flow of life, honoring routines and patterns, we experience a sense of calm and security that supports emotional and mental well-being. Routines in a dog's life are not simply external schedules. They also create opportunities for growth, bonding, and mindfulness. A daily walk, for example, is not just exercise. It is a time for exploration, observation, and engagement with the world. Feeding times are not just about nutrition. They are moments of care, attention, and connection. Even seemingly mundane routines, when followed consistently, become meaningful rituals that structure life, instill discipline, and enhance relationships. Dogs teach us that embracing routine is not a limitation. It is a framework that allows joy, learning, and love to flourish within a predictable and dependable rhythm. Faith in routine also reinforces the power of small, consistent actions. A dog does not expect immediate results from training or discipline. They participate in routines day after day, trusting that steady effort will lead to growth, trust, and understanding. Similarly, humans often underestimate the impact of daily, consistent habits. Yet it is through repetition and persistence that character, resilience, and mastery are built. Dogs are living proof that faith in the process, trusting the routine, following it with patience and dedication, produces lasting results far more reliably than bursts of it or sporadic attention. Furthermore, dogs demonstrate that routine nurtures emotional stability. When life becomes stressful or unpredictable, dogs find comfort in familiar patterns. This teaches us that routines are not just external schedules. They are anchors for the mind and heart. They provide a sense of predictability that allows us to face uncertainty with resilience and confidence. By observing a dog's calm adherence to routine, we are reminded that structure in our own lives, whether through meditation, exercise, work habits, or meaningful rituals, can bring balance, focus, and peace. Ultimately, dogs are silent teachers of the value of faith in routine. They remind us that life is not merely about spontaneity, unpredictability, or constant novelty. True contentment and growth emerge when we embrace consistency, honor the natural rhythms of life, and trust that small, repeated actions create lasting results. Through their example, we learn that routine is not limitation. It is stability, discipline, and a source of enduring comfort that allows us to navigate life with confidence, patience, and grace. Connection to nature and life is a profound lesson that dogs embody naturally, yet it is something humans often struggle to maintain. In our modern, fast-paced world, we are constantly surrounded by technology, deadlines, and artificial environments which can distance us from the natural rhythms of life. Dogs, on the other hand, live in harmony with the world around them. They notice the subtle changes in the seasons, the rustle of leaves in the wind, the scent of flowers and grass, the bird song in the morning. Every moment outdoors is an invitation to experience life fully, with all senses engaged. Through their awareness and appreciation of the natural world, dogs remind us that life is not merely about completing tasks or achieving goals. It is about being present, noticing the beauty around us, and honoring our connection to the world we inhabit. Think about a dog on a simple walk. They do not rush from one point to another with a checklist in mind. Instead, they pause to sniff the ground, explore a new scent, or watch a squirrel dart across the yard. Every detail is alive to them. Every moment is meaningful. This teaches humans an essential lesson. Mindfulness and connection to nature are intertwined. By slowing down, observing, and engaging with the environment, we cultivate a sense of wonder, curiosity, and presence that enriches our daily lives. Dogs demonstrate that connecting to life and nature is not about grand adventures. It is about noticing the small miracles, the dew on the grass, the warmth of sunlight, or the way the wind brushes against our skin. Through these small, attentive moments, life becomes fuller, richer, and more meaningful. Dogs also remind us that connection to life is relational, not just sensory. They engage with other animals, respond to humans, and interact with their surroundings in ways that reflect respect, awareness, and curiosity. Their actions demonstrate that life is interconnected and that our well-being is linked to the world around us. Observing a dog play with another dog, gently approach a bird, or lie quietly in the shade teaches humans the importance of empathy, coexistence, and harmony with all living beings. It is a subtle but profound lesson. When we honor our connection to life, we nurture not only our own hearts, but also the health and balance of the world around us. Connection to nature also has a healing quality, and dogs naturally guide us toward it. Studies have shown that spending time with animals and in natural settings reduces stress, lowers blood pressure, and improves mood. Dogs lead us to walk outside, explore parks, or simply sit in the sun. Through these moments, they restore our physical, mental, and emotional health. Yet beyond science, the real lesson is deeper. Dogs remind us that life's rhythm and energy are not separate from us, they flow through us. To be fully alive is to honor these rhythms, to notice them, and to immerse ourselves in the living world with attention, respect, and gratitude. Finally, dogs teach us that connection to life is inseparable from joy, curiosity, and presence. When a dog bounds through a field, rolls in the grass, or chases a leaf blown by the wind, they experience life fully, without reservation or distraction. Their example invites us to embrace life similarly, not as a series of obligations, but as an experience to savor, a relationship to nurture, and a world to explore with gratitude and wonder. Through dogs, we are reminded that life is not only to be endured, but to be fully lived with awareness, connection, and reverence for the beauty that surrounds us every day. Ultimately, dogs are more than companions. They are guides to a life fully connected to nature, life, and all living beings. They teach us to slow down, observe, engage, and appreciate the world around us, reminding us that true happiness, balance, and fulfillment come from recognizing our place in the vast, interconnected web of life, and from honoring the simple, profound beauty of existence itself. Gratitude and appreciation are qualities that dogs teach us every day, though often without words or intentionality. A dog does not wait for a special occasion to show joy for what they have. Every moment is an opportunity to express appreciation. Whether it is a meal, a walk, a kind touch, or simply the presence of a beloved human, a dog celebrates life with openness and delight. Humans, on the other hand, are often caught in a cycle of expectation, always seeking the next achievement, the next reward, or the next pleasure, and rarely stopping to acknowledge the blessings we already have. Dogs quietly remind us that gratitude is not about grand gestures. It is about noticing and valuing the simple, everyday moments that make life meaningful. Consider a dog receiving a meal. They do not take it for granted. Every bite is met with enthusiasm, a wagging tail, and eyes full of happiness. Yet eyes full of happiness. It is not merely food they are enjoying. It is the care, the attention, and the routine that sustains them. They savor it fully in the moment, without rushing, without complaint, without expectation of more. There is a lesson here for humans. To live fully, we must learn to appreciate what we have in the present moment, rather than constantly focusing on what we lack or what we hope to achieve. Gratitude begins with awareness, and dogs embody this awareness in every action, every glance, and every joyful response. Dogs also demonstrate gratitude through their affection. When you return home after a long day, the joy and enthusiasm of a dog is an expression of appreciation, not only for your presence, but for the relationship itself. It is not calculated, it is not conditional, and it is not hidden. This teaches humans that appreciation does not have to be formal or elaborate. It is shown through consistent attention, care, and responsiveness. Gratitude is a way of acknowledging the value of another being in our lives, and dogs practice it instinctively. Their example challenges us to notice the people, experiences, and moments that enrich our lives and to express that appreciation openly and sincerely. Moreover, dogs teach us that gratitude is deeply linked with joy. A dog does not separate happiness from thankfulness. They delight in the smallest pleasures, playing in the garden, receiving a gentle scratch behind the ears, or simply lying beside a loved one is an expression of gratefulness. Humans often make the mistake of postponing gratitude, linking it to success, possessions, or milestones. Dogs remind us that joy and gratitude are inseparable, and that the act of noticing, savoring, and valuing life's ordinary moments is what creates true contentment. Gratitude is not just an attitude, it is a way of living that deepens our connection to life itself. In addition, gratitude fosters resilience, a lesson dogs demonstrate without effort. Even after difficult experiences, being left alone, facing a storm, or enduring discomfort, dogs return to life with renewed enthusiasm, ready to enjoy the moment. They do not dwell on the negative or focus on what is missing. They embrace what is present and find delight in it. This teaches humans an essential truth. Cultivating gratitude allows us to navigate life's challenges with a lighter heart, greater perspective, and more enduring happiness. Appreciating what we have strengthens us, grounds us, and opens our hearts to love more deeply. Ultimately, dogs are living reminders of the transformative power of gratitude. Through their simple acts of joy, loyalty, and presence, they teach us to value what we have, to notice life's small wonders, and to express appreciation with sincerity and consistency. In observing them, we learn that gratitude is not a one-time action or a fleeting feeling. It is a lifestyle, a perspective, and a conscious choice to honor and cherish life, relationships, and the world around us every day.